far-right candidate Marine Le Pen in the French presidential election yesterday. Macron garnered almost twice as many votes as Le Pen. So the big question, I guess, now is what does this mean for populism, the entire movement in Europe? Here to discuss, Michael Gonzalez and Ford O'Connell. Ford, you had the Netherlands defeat. You've got this. Germany, it's more than likely Merkel will win. Maybe Italy's the last stand. But do you feel like the populism juggernaut that it was is fizzling, or is it just sort of rebooting here?
Oh, I think it's absolutely rebooting. Look, Le Pen and all those other folks you named went down, okay, but there's voters' concerns are still real. Here's what I know. Over the next few years, basically the job market in Europe is going to be in the ground, and essentially they're still going to be ravaged by the effects of globalization. And until political elites in Europe understand and treat these people with respect and stop treating them like a disease that needs to be eradicated, this is going to continue to gain steam.
But, Michael, it's so mind-boggling for so many people with the terrorist attacks on the eve of the first round of the elections and chronic unemployment in France that the showing wasn't better, at least this round for Le Pen.
Well, I agree with Ford. Look, these ideas, and listen, I'm not going to get into to what populism is, because I don't want to get into the semantics of it. The idea that a nation is sovereign, that democracy and human rights live within the context of a nation state, of a people, of co-citizens, and that citizens have a responsibility towards each other. These are ideas that are continue to be very alive. Le Pen just happened to be a very bad vessel for these ideas. She couldn't really, when she gave a speech on May 1st on the issue of sovereignty and the assimilation of immigrants, she actually borrowed it, plagiarized it word for word from a speech that François Fillon, the conservative candidate, gave on April 15th. I actually think François Fillon was a much better spokesman for these ideas. But these ideas are not going away, partly because Macron doesn't have solutions either. He's not going to be able to fix 10% unemployment, 23% unemployment among youth, and the fact that you have parallel societies and the immigrants have not assimilated into French culture, and something needs to be done about it.
Right. Charles, let me add in on this point, and I agree with him 100%. Le Pen was a terrible candidate, okay, going forward. And a lot of this stuff is not going away. The question is going to be how Macron answers some of these questions, because it very well could prime the pump for another nationalist candidate who's more media-friendly and doesn't have as much baggage.
Well, I can tell you, I don't know. I kind of disagree with you guys with Le Pen. I think the platform was murky. There were parts of the platform, if you take out immigration, it was bigger government and things like that, which I don't know about you guys, I don't like. And I think she's worked hard to sort of shed the image of her father, and that doesn't come easy. She's doubled the election outcome from last time, so I'm not sure that she was the imperfect candidate as much as perhaps France may be the imperfect place. I mean, Michael, let me ask you this. What would push France over the top? They've had a series of terrorist attacks. They've had open borders forever. They've had chronic unemployment forever. They're used to it. Why would they change any time in the future?
No, they're not used to it. Macron is not going to be able to solve these problems. These are problems that are not going to go away. And in fact, I think, as Ford said, could get worse. But Le Pen was discredited. Her party had more than baggage. They've recognized it. They're going to change their own name. When a party changes its name like the communists did after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, they realize that they're discredited. So I think that these ideas about sovereignty and national identity need a new party and a new person to carry them forward.
Ford, where's the next flashpoint in Europe that perhaps we can see some sort of a victory that proves your point that this movement has stalled, but certainly it's not over?
Well, I think what's going to happen here is to see exactly how England handles Brexit and whether or not it's successful. Because if they are successful in moving forward more with controlling their own future, then you're going to see a lot of other people not be so scared of this. The greatest thing that the opponents of nationalism or populism have are people striking fear into their hearts, saying that the whole experiment's a waste of time and you're going to die because of it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both very much. Here's the question. Are Silicon Valley powerhouses also ISIS enablers? There's a new lawsuit that says yes, they are responsible.